Good morning, everyone. We're here in Way Mountain for the Saturday morning chant class. Thank you all for coming. Getting colder and colder. This weather is really perfect for meditation, because when it's a little bit cooler here, you meditate, you do it right, you should warm up naturally. Thank you. So it shows that you have some kung fu. When you meditate and you concentrate at your navel, especially when you feel cold, you concentrate in your navel, it should warm you up. Okay, that shows that you have some skills. All right. Feel free to ask any questions. I was looking at the song Enlightenment last night to figure out what I'm going to be talking about today. So I saw some interesting things, like the cover from that work of Master YongHua. So can we have it, please? Okay. Okay. Very good. We're on slide 117. Simply accomplish them and know what's hard to fathom. Okay. Simply accomplish. Accomplish here, actually, the better word would be to certify. Okay. Accomplish here, chen here, is actually the meaning. They use this word a lot in Chinese Chan instructions. It refers to the fact that Chen here is her to certify to. Okay, so you should correct it a little bit, make it better, because these translators don't quite understand Chinese Chan. That's why certify to. Not just certified. Certified to. Chen is certified to. Certified to refers to the fact that you have someone verify for you, someone certify for you that you have and that you have them. Yeah? So certified to them refers to you certify to the prior thing that you have purified the 5 roots and attained the 5 powers. Is that clear? So someone should tell you that you certify to it, that whatever you have is for real. It's not your imagination. This is also a matter of principle. If you think you understand and you can have it figured out, it's quite common to make this kind of mistake. You think you got it, actually you didn't, or what you have is not quite the same thing. And so it's much safer in a Chan world for you to get certified to these things. All right, it's a very important point here. Okay, the common mistakes of people who practice meditation is that they discover these things, they have some of these experiences when they meditate, and they think they got something. They try to make a connection with their personal experience with the Chan literature, things they learned from reading the Chan literature, and it's not a good thing to do. Typically, if you think that's what you got, then you should have someone certify for you that you have such things. In particular, if you attained, you have certain attainments that are significant, such as, for example, what we stress here since day one, and we started teaching Chan here in the U.S., is you want to certify to fruitions, to certify to samadhi levels. That's very important. Okay, and your mind can play tricks on you. That's why you're much better off. Everyone is much better off to get certified to these states, to these levels of attainment. Is that clear? Okay. So this also needs to be changed here. And so that if you certify to, and you have now, when you certify to, when you get certification, that's also validation of that you're supposed to know what's hard to fathom. You're supposed to be at the level where, according to the Chan literature, the Chan scriptures, that you're able to do certain things. You're able to have certain results for yourself, certain skills for yourself. Okay? Now here in China in particular, in the China world, we're more interested in your acquiring wisdom that is meant by hard to fathom. Okay? The wisdom is something that's very difficult for ordinary people to measure, to understand. Okay? And because wisdom is a very has a wide range, has a lot of criteria, a lot of aspects, and therefore it's very hard for ordinary people, the people who are not there yet, to be able to fathom it, to have a feel for it. Even when you get there, this is what we make it a point to certify you. So I would say the last 19 years that, now you're a second stage arhat, okay? What it means is that now you have ChatGPT, 19 years later, now you have ChatGPT, okay? You should look it up. You say, okay, hey, ChatGPT, when I'm at a second stage arhat, what am I supposed to be able to do? What? And sometimes ChatGPT hallucinates. So it's okay, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. What it means that the reason we tell you, I tell you, our people tell you that you're certified to fourth dhyana, because it means a certain thing, it carries with it a certain level of understanding, level of a skill set that you will eventually develop, that you have access to, that you can develop. Okay? That's when the real work begins, we like to say in the Chan world. We say you got the fourth dhyana. That means the fourth dhyana, you're able to do a certain you can develop a certain set of skills, which requires further work, naturally. And you continue to work, naturally skills will develop. Okay? And when you are able to see those skills and utilize those skills, you don't need to be certified anymore. Is that clear? So don't come and bother me constantly. Say, Master, you told me I'm fourth dhyana, but now I'm able to do this. Is that real? Is that for real? I said, leave me alone, son. Grow up. Don't be such a baby. Go look up through ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever. Stop bothering me. Okay? And so that's the point. And it's hard to fathom. Therefore, even AI or all those people, all those programs, they cannot fathom themselves because we do not commit everything we know down to writing on purpose so that you cannot get a big head. There's so many nuances, so many variations, all right? Okay, so it's very hard to fathom for you, in particular, if you reach a fruitions of 1A, first stage arhat, 2A, second stage arhat, third stage arhat, and higher, first ground, and so forth. Now you're entering the range of wisdom, which is wonderful. Okay? You don't know how wonderful it is. You know, it's a wonderful, wonderful world it is. I assure you. It's unfathomable for ordinary people. Even at the ground level, enlightened people level in Mahayana, the first ground cannot fathom the kind of wisdom the second ground has. Okay? There's no way for them to fathom it. Okay? Let alone second ground to fathom what? Sixth ground. The level of wisdom, the kind of wisdom they have is incredible. All right? So be humble. 119, shapes in a mirror are not hard to see. Chinese. Hey, do we read Chinese? Do we read Chinese today, or you want to take a break? I know you got up since 5:30, but it's no excuse. We normally don't read it. We don't? Forget it. Go back to sleep. 120. Shapes in the mirror is talking about visible things. What can be seen are not hard to see. Okay? It's what our eyes are able to perceive, and our brains, okay, can certify it itself. However, the moon in the water, how can one pluck it out? Okay? What means is that the moon in the water, this is a common Chan analogy. Okay? Especially it's abused, if you will, in Zen. In particular, the Chan teaching, we use the moon every now and then because it's important. When it comes down to it, at a certain point in time in teachings, we have to remind you there's a moon in the water. But the Zen, they talk about it constantly as if it's nothing else about Chan that you need to know. Okay? It's an overkill. So the moon in water, okay? So it's referring to there's a moon upstairs in the heavens, okay, and it's reflected on a body of water, okay. So it's just a reflection. It's not the real moon. So this is exactly what it is. We're talking about the moon on the water, not the moon itself, okay, and how can we pluck it out? So the Japanese would say and the traditional Chan teaching the Japanese stole it from is that what I'm telling you is basically Chan instructions are just the finger pointing to the moon, and they abuse it. Okay? All we can do for you is to point to the moon. Okay, for you. But here, Master YongHua is much more clever. He says, you see the moon there, it looks so beautiful, looks so perfect, especially on a full moon. Looks so attractive, so real to you. How are you going to get it? If it's so beautiful, wouldn't you like to own it? That's what ordinary people normally like to do. It's so nice. You see a flower, see a rose. You come over and you pluck it out, don't you? That's what I do. And of course, I pluck it out because I bring it back to the temple and offer it. That's my excuse. I used to offer it to my girlfriend. Now it's offered to the Buddha. Better. Okay? And so it says, the moon and water is very attractive, very, very, very nice to look at. Okay? How are you going to make it yours? How are you going to take it? Okay? And And so Chan is very, very practical. You see something desirable, okay? How are you going to get it? Can Chan help you get it? All right? 123. Ever practicing in solitude, ever walking alone. It's from Chinese, 常独行, 常独步. Okay? Ever the practice, Chan is constantly, often, always. So that's why they translated that as ever. Okay? Okay, I'm not that crazy about ever. Okay? Chang here is you should often. Okay? If you ask me to change the translation, but I don't want to, but if you insist, okay? Because I am wishy-washy, I don't want to, but in order to please you, I will do it. Okay? I'll do it. And so you should be practicing in solitude. You should be walking alone. Okay? Don't say ever. Ever is like, it's too strong. Because it refers to the fact that he says that preferably you should be practicing in solitude. Or practicing by yourself. Preferably you should be walking alone. However, I modify this because this is not practical for us. I prefer that you practice alone at the temple. I prefer you walk alone at the temple. Because if you walk alone in the mountain, in the wilderness, in the valley, it's not as good as you were to come and practice here alone in the temple. Or if there are people around you, practice alone among the crowd. That's Wei Yang Chan. Why do you need to be alone? You need alone because these old Chan technology, okay, that the Hinayana people seem to advocate as well, are based on being alone, because that's Master YongHua practice by himself and his experience. I'm telling you, it's not the best way to practice Chan at all. Our Wei Yang Chan practice, okay, historically, the last 19 years, okay, we prefer to teach you like this. We prefer that you practice like this. Why? Because you progress a lot faster. Much, much faster. We're talking about a factor of minimum of 10. I'm not bragging. I've been observing all of you. 10 times faster. Is it significant enough for you? That's what happens. If you practice alone like these people, it works for them because basically when they're taught to go by themselves like Master YongHua and the people of his generation and Hinayana people all over the world, they're taught to be alone, to practice alone and walk alone and so forth. It's because of the knowledge in meditation. Meditation is a technique that allows your mind to settle down. Okay? When you agitated, why are you agitated? Men, South Carolina, why are you agitated? 5.
Because have stuff I want that I can't get.
Very good. Catholic, why are you agitated? I look at the wrong. I'm just off by one degree.
I'm not.
I don't believe you. He's agitated because what happened to the girlfriend? You got the point? We agitated by others. Our dogs, our cats, our girlfriend, our boyfriend, if that's what you want. Okay? It's the others. Living beings, especially, it's all the people that tend to agitate us the most. This is why you run away from your family, you come to the temple. Because you say, I have enough of you, honey. I love you dearly, but enough is enough. Sayonara. Okay? So that's why it's important for you to be smart in your cultivation. When it's too much for you, run away. And that's what Chan is about. They know that, we know that your mind is agitated, and if you just have a chance to be by yourself, okay, without the stimuli, without the stimulants, okay, you naturally will, your mind will naturally settle down, because the state of agitation is what? What's the word? Close. Temporary, very good. Who said temporary? Oh, very good. Irvine. What's a better word? Impermanent? Further away. Huh? I forgot. It's slightly better than temporary. It'll come back, don't worry. Okay. All right, so what happened is this agitation that you have in your mind is unnatural. It's not you. Inherently, your mind is at peace. Believe it or not. Says who? Ripley. You don't know Ripley? I've been to San Francisco often enough. Fisherman's Wharf. Ripley's Believe It or Not. I highly recommend it. Okay? Yeah. It's not natural for you to be agitated. And therefore, if you are put in your natural environment, the mind will naturally settle down. It's what people don't realize. What they don't realize is that they've been agitated their entire life since they're young. Their parents bother the heck out of them, brainwashed them to death. Anyone? Any parent? You see, South Carolina still remembers. Okay? So that's why we are constantly agitated by our teachers, our parents, our friends, and so forth. And that's what we came to believe, to get accustomed to it. Yeah, I'm supposed to be agitated. And that's why people forget. By the way, I would like to have a banner up there in our temples. Okay? At DTT, at WMT, at Go Forth. Okay? Go Forth, be careful. They vandalize us. So, do a banner, leave it up high, and says, free Chan meditation class Saturday morning. Emphasize free. because nothing is free nowadays. That's why when we say free, especially with these uncertain economic times and so forth, okay, people would not mind, okay, would be interested. And they really will find out it's really for free, okay, eventually. They will see that it's for real, okay? It's a community service, okay? So what happens is that the people initially, when Buddha first taught his disciples in India, okay, he says, you don't believe me, so all you have to do is go away from your family, okay? Go sit under a tree, away from people, and see that how meditation allows you to calm down. That is, back then, they're not bipolar, they're not depressed, they're not manic, so that's why by themselves they have a chance. Nowadays, you go to a tree by yourself, or climb up to the top of the mountain, Mount Himalaya, okay? You still will not be by yourself because your depression ghost is still with you. And of course, Daniel's God is still with him. Yes, 7.
Master, so compared to the time that Buddha was present to now, we have more ghost and more like depression ghost and bipolar ghost.
Yeah, you bad nowadays. And that's why you deserve what you get. We deserve what we get. Okay? Back then, in Buddha's time, the Buddha said, sit down, cross your legs, and they'll set in full lotus right away. Okay? And then meditate. I say, what's meditation? Don't think about anything. Oh, no problem. Yes, 5.
So talking about leaving people to come to the temple, we had Chan class at night and everybody was telling ghost stories. So then after an hour and a half or an hour and 50 minutes, I said, I can't take this. You guys are getting on my nerves. I can't wait to go home. And then I unbuckled. But
you go home.
Have to do to.
Do you regret going home, or you feel better?
No, I made it through after that. But is this you put into like an agitated state to make yourself overcome that? Is that what this is about? Like,
I'm coming to that. I love these leading questions. It's rehearsed. You can tell. The timing is perfect. I was about to talk about it. So, oh, by the way, Master, can I ask you a question? So that's what why the Buddha said back then. He says, 你真好问. Say, I want to talk about it, and you just ask it, at the right time. That's what the Buddhas used to happen in the Buddha. Okay? So anyway, so that's traditionally what happened. The Buddha says, I know your mind naturally is at peace. Okay? So all you need is a chance for you to isolate and get away from your wives and your husbands and your mother. They don't give up, do they? Mothers. They still call you. Say, are you okay, honey? You need anything? Leave me alone, Mom. Okay. And so all they have to do is pull people away, and naturally they are able to enter samadhi. They're able to concentrate. They say, wow, this is nice. But now, problem number 1, as I said, most of you are depressed. That's why you're here. You say, oh, you're depressed, you come to the temple, what happened? You feel, wow, it feels peaceful here. I'm not as agitated as normal. That's why I like to come to the temple myself. I said, wow, this is a nice place. I can relax. Oh, well, look at that. Okay? And so that's why we need to change it for you nowadays. The style of training is different. Okay? We advocate that you come to the temple, okay, for many, many good reasons. Primarily because you'll be able to calm down a lot faster than otherwise. No two ways about it. Why? Yeah, it's because our samadhi level is much higher than you. Much, much higher. So therefore, what samadhi level higher means that our mind is much more at peace than yours, in spite of all this noise around us, all the agitation around us. Okay, we look excited, but actually deep inside we're not excited at all. We pretend to be excited. Yes, Evan.
So one of my experiences is when you're at home, you don't realize how much you're agitated or anywhere else that you're so agitated. But once you sit and I start to realize, oh my gosh, so many thoughts, so many agitations here. Mm-hmm. And that's what the meditation really makes it clear, to see clear that what's going on in my mind.
That's right. Ordinary people, unless they meditate, they cannot tell the difference. They're constantly agitated. It's the water, it's the noise. Okay, the water surface have waves constantly because of the wind blowing. Okay, and so when you come to the temple, this is what I observe. That's why I made sure the last 19 years, you come to our temple, our kung fu is much higher than yours. I'm not talking not even close. Most of the time, more than 50% of the time, you have someone at the temple, okay, who's much higher than you. And therefore, when you come meditate at the temple, your mind will settle down a lot faster than if you were by yourself. That's the bottom line. Because meditation, the advantage of meditation is you will experience, the way we stress it, more peace and bliss. This is why people meditate our temple, love to come to our temple, because they're experiencing more and more peace and bliss that they cannot anywhere else. I'm not bragging. I'm telling you the facts. This is why many of you keep on coming and coming and coming, because that's what happens to you. So it's much more advantageous for you to come to the temple, because this is how we train our people as well. In order for me to train my sanghas and my instructors to be more peaceful than you, much higher level than you, they need to go to have certain things, such as not seeking fame and profit, not trying to pick your pockets. Because anywhere else, you go to the temple, they're under financial pressure. Let me tell you, making mortgage payment, electricity, utility bills, telephone, insurance, and so forth, okay? And mortgages, not to mention mortgages, and all these are weighed heavily on them. They can walk very, very elegantly and put on an air, but if inside their mind is under financial pressure, okay, They may not ask for it. If the pressure in the mind here will make it difficult for them, their mind to settle down, they cannot help you. Period. So that's why at our temple, we're not rich, but none of them has to worry about money. None. That will be the case. By the time I'm done, they will never have to worry the rest of their lives. They have enough to continue to teach and help the community and help people without having to worry about picking people's pockets. The churches, the temples in Korea, for example, I notice, they have such high overheads. All right? And so there's a reason why they practiced in solitude back then, but nowadays it's not desirable anymore, because let me tell you bluntly, this depression that people have, this bipolar disorder you have, is extremely, extremely contagious. All you have to do is sit in the same room with those people, and you get along with depressed people, don't you? That's a bridge. Oh, excuse me. You don't know how contagious it is. You think COVID-19, all you have to do is inhale the air, okay? You still need to inhale the air to get the COVID-19. The depression doesn't need air at all. All it needs is that you like a depressed person. That's it. So at home, for example, you love your mom, don't you? Hey, mommy. If you have depression and your son loves you, guess what? Your son is also depressed. It spreads like wildfire, let me tell you. It's so contagious. It's so dangerous because no one knows how to deal with it. And the therapists are discovering mindfulness meditation is the only real tool they have. It's not meds. It's not counseling. It is meditation. But the meditation technique is based on what? Solitude. Mindfulness meditation, right? It's solitude. They say, oh, be mindful and stay away from people. But no, you know what? Your depression ghost is still with you wherever you go. Wherever you run away to, it follows you. It loves you to death. Yes, go first.
Master, in the last, I'd say 4 months, I've noticed this thing where if I'm around certain groups of people, let's say later that day or the next day, my energy becomes really low, and even times have really just terrible agitated thoughts that naturally do not arise in me. And even, for example, even the last, I guess, Halloween, I went to a Halloween party with my friends, people I never met. Had a great time, and then the next day, I had this wave of just, I wouldn't say depression, but it was just kind of just sadness, and it's just it only happens after I'm with groups of people that, I don't know, I can't explain what kind of groups of people they are, but this is a new experience. I wonder if there's something that's common and what I can do to alleviate it.
That's right. You know, Halloween is one of the worst customs we have in the West. That's now people in Korea also do Halloween, and Japan, and you name it. And let me tell you, I once, over 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I once on Halloween, I have nothing to do, I was bored. I said, I miss Halloween. It used to be so much fun. So I opened the TV, turned on the TV, okay? And it happened to tune some news piece on Halloween at the Playboy Mansion. And somehow I got interested. I don't know why. This is true story. So I said, what? So I said, not only was it, I haven't, watched TV, but seeing a piece on Halloween, one of my favorite times of the year. And then I saw on the screen there, Mr. Hefner, one of my idols back then, okay, being surrounded by his friends and daughters. Daughters or dolls? I thought it's daughters. Oops. Okay. And I said, wow. So I pay attention. I look, you know what I saw? They're surrounded by ghosts in a Playboy Mansion. I said, good thing I never went there. Halloween is when you send our kids out, go trick-or-treating after dark, right? The ghosts are with them. Everyone hangs out, things at the houses to scare you. That's the spirit, okay? That's you encouraging the in-beings to come. Fun? Yeah? Some things are a lot more dangerous than you guys realize. That's why once you have these beings come to you and get acquainted with you, they will never leave you alone. They follow you and love you to death. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, yeah, and once you use meditation, you realize, you're more sensitive, to become more aware of your energy level and your changes in the state of mind that's naturally occur. And then that's when you believe to buy into these things. It's for real. These invisible beings have the way of affecting and draining your energy. All right? 125, those who have penetrated Rome Nirvana's road together. He's letting us in to his world. He said, those who have penetrated. Penetrated here refers to the fact that penetrated through to the light. Because until that happens, we are living in an envelope of darkness, of confusion, of unclarity, of suffering, if you will. Okay? And that's why when you practice meditation, especially Chan meditation, the objective is to help you break through the fog. Okay? They come to you in so many ways. Along the way, as you get through the various levels of samadhi levels, you have to conquer and overcome these types of obstructions that are designed to keep you there in this envelope of confusion, of darkness, of obscurity, so that your mind is confused. So the penetration refers to, number one, you penetrate through to the darkness. Okay? You cannot see, so therefore you need to penetrate before you see. When you penetrate here, then you also looking, after you penetrate to the light, then you see even more you find that, it gets more and more interesting. So at this, if you're not enlightened yet, you penetrate through to discover light. You begin to see clearly. You begin to experience something called true happiness. Not happiness, it's true happiness. Ordinary people, what they call happiness is not true happiness. There's a huge difference between happiness and true happiness. Huge difference. It's like night and day kind of difference. So that's why when you penetrate through, you pass through this fog, pass through this dense, thick fog, then you discover, oh my God, I can be happy. I can really be happy for a change. I didn't realize that I was so unhappy before. Okay? Once that's a penetration. First level of penetration is that you break through and say, wow, this is a new world. Okay? Where the possibilities are unlimited. And then the next level of penetration is that you discover more. It's like the first time Marco Polo set his foot in the Americas. He said, oh, Eureka. No, that's someone else, Archimedes, right? I'm getting old, please forgive me. Okay, he says, oh, this is fantastic. I don't know what language he used. Caramba, no, Spanish. What do you say in Spanish? Oh my goodness. Dios mío. Por Dios. Thank you. Okay, por Dios. Oh mon Dieu. Okay, in French. Trời ơi, in Vietnam. I don't know what's Korean. Okay, so you say, wow, this is so wonderful. And that's when you penetrate through to the light. You say, wow, this is nice. Okay, and then you go further, like Marco Polo, say, wow. And then you discover, fruits, parakeets, and so forth. Okay, monkeys. Okay, and that's when your wisdom grows for real. Okay, and your growth becomes so rewarding. So your happiness increases. It doesn't decrease. It increases more and more and more. Whereas until you break through, most ordinary people, their confusion only increases and their happiness decreases. It's like marriage. Ladies, you remember? Except for you, when you first got married, how wonderful it was until he became a slob. He said, honey, can I get another beer, honey? And the beer belly pops up and lies there. Oh, thank you. Give some chips. Go get it yourself. Okay? And so that's what happens. To ordinary people, they are increasingly more unhappy. Whereas you discover this new world, okay, of wisdom, of enlightenment, of wisdom, your happiness increases, folks. That's what I meant by night and day. Yes, sir. 5.
Master, a question. Is true love and true happiness compatible?
true love and your definition or my definition?
Your definition.
My definition, true love is the same as true happiness. It's no different.
Thank you.
You get there, and you know what? Your heart is full of love. It's a different kind of love. What we have until then is selfish love. Okay? Selfish love meaning that I love me more than you. Right, boys? I mean, men. We tell ourselves, now I got you. I do know I love me more than I love you. Yeah? I don't know about the ladies. I can't speak for them. Okay? As you cultivate, as you improve, that selfishness decreases. Okay? So here is me. As you decreases, okay? As you improve, your selfishness naturally will decrease. Until you reach, when you penetrate, then you and I are the same. That's a true love. I love you as much as I love myself. We are not different. If you believe that, go for it. Then you believe anything I tell you. Yes, Macho Nato.
Emitofuo Master. Yeah, so I was going to ask you what is your definition of true love and true happiness, but more or less you have already replied.
My definition of true love and happiness is what?
Yeah, what is your definition of true love and true happiness?
True love and true happiness is something you will naturally experience when you get there. After you penetrate, you will experience true love and true happiness, and that thing grows. Your heart gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Becomes 38, 39, 40. Okay? Okay. And so those who have penetrated, they roam Nirvana's road together. This is what it means, Nirvana road. Nirvana is where you find true happiness. Okay? You'll be able to connect with other people who are also experience true happiness. It's a different world. That's why we call it a wonderful, wonderful world. It's nice, I assure you. It's well worth it. Yes, go Forrest.
Master, when you speak about true happiness, is that the same as joy?
It has joy, but it's a lot more than joy. Okay? Let me explain to you the difference. Joy, okay, is something that is short-lived. Agree? I am so joyful when I meet you again after high school. It's been 10 years now. It pleases me to see you again. That's joy. Yes? That joy there tends to be quite short-lived. All right? So the joy there, the first characteristics of joy is that it's temporary, it's short-lived, it's short duration. It's like a blip, right? I like it. Okay? Like when you first sip, the shock there, okay, can be comparable to joy. Okay? That joy of, this is nice. Okay? It's short-lived. It decreases intensity. All right? But the joy there, okay, is dependent on external stimuli. Is that clear? You're joyful when you meet with an old flame again, or you do something fun that brings joy to your heart. Okay? The happiness, true happiness, is that it's a, believe it or not, permanent state of happiness, which does not require anything at all. You are internally, inherently happy whether God scolds you or not. If God praises you, you're still happy, and God scolds you, you're equally happy. You don't depend on God to be happy. You don't depend on your wife to be happy. It's nice. When you're there, you know what I mean. So that's why when you're not dependent on your wife, you do not depend on anyone, then you're able to freely share your happiness with everyone. When you are dependent on a red car to make you happy, to bring joy to you, are you willing to share it with others? Hell no. You don't know how hard it was to get a red car. I've been trying to do it for 19 years. It hasn't worked yet. See that? So that's why when your joy depends on something else, okay, you're unlikely to share it. But when your joy, that happiness there wells up inside of you, independent of the outside, that's when you're able to give it freely, share it freely. Is that clear? That's a difference between joy and true happiness. Okay, and Nirvana's road together. Nirvana is a place of happiness. You are in a constant state of happiness. Go forth. Last question, and we stop here.
Emitofuo Master, and in which level is when you have that true happiness?
When you reach 1G, you begin to be in the range, you penetrate through to the fog, okay, and you're in the range where you begin to experience bits of true happiness. As you continue to develop your skills, they become longer and longer and longer and longer. That's what happens, will happen to you. Yes, God's follower.
Quick question. I'm just curious. Do you think you have reached that level?
I definitely have not. I'm still very unhappy in my heart. Why can't I be richer? I'm such a nice person. Why do people hate me so much? Stop here today. Thank you.